Women's Aid was sat there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to make sure that after divorce or separation, wherever humanly possible, those fathers did not see their children again. That was their single overriding objective.
Do you know anything
and if they could use domestic abuse as the reason for it, let's use it. What you need to realise is that when you've finally achieved your objective, a legal presumption of contact, I said, your next roadblock, I said, is going to be domestic violence. I said, and that's why we're working on it now.
Ms. Jenkins says she is afraid of you. You are obsessive, aggressive and unpredictable, showing no regard for the emotional needs of your child or her mother.
That's not true.
No?
Times the police were called, Miss Green never had one mark on her and always had me that had the cut, because I would not smack her back. I would not hit her back purely and simply because she was a woman.
Do you think that there is a level of domestic violence complaints by women that are untrue?
Yes, it's been hugely abused. It was particularly obvious in Canada. I was there for 6 weeks with Senator Ann Cools, and we travelled all the way across Canada, and we were looking at what they called in the refugees, first step is called hoovering. He comes home from work and finds that she's taken the children and everything she can lay hands on has moved into a local refuge, and he won't be able to find her because no one will tell her where she's gone. And then she instigates, because what happened is domestic violence has become a fast track to divorce. An awful lot of solicitors internationally will say to women, claim that he hit you because this means that you'll get everything.
Your husband, on a prior occasion, had slapped you, beat you. I think that word is not inappropriate.
No,
Let me finish, please. I'm not concerned with who slapped whom first. Your husband, who had beaten you repeatedly.
No,
please.
he never...
Repeatedly.
And then the second thing, if that doesn't work fast enough, they call it the silver bullet in Canada. That means that she claims that he's molested the children. And that means that he is immediately then barred from everything, and the divorce goes straight through, and he loses his children, and he will never see them again.
Well, I know that I had to answer a lot of accusations that were untrue about domestic violence, about my kids are scared of me, about beating my kids up, which were totally fabricated. But I felt that the courts looked upon me as that person. It was just general accusations, punching her 4 times at the top of the stairs, then actually throwing her down the stairs. One of the accusations was that she rolled over while I threw her down the stairs 4 times, yet she managed to get up, drive away, and had no marks on her, never went to the police, which was laughable to a degree, but when it's actually levelled against you, it ain't laughable. It's pretty damn frightening.
The increasingly wide and increasingly shallow definitions all serve to inflate the statistics against men. All men are guilty. Basically anything a man says or does that could conceivably upset a woman is now, officially, domestic violence. But most of these behaviours, when they occur in an intimate relationship, are not considered crimes of violence by those involved. But this is silly. By Harriet Harman's definition, this is a sexual assault.
So it kind of makes for an exciting life, I suppose.
Well, let's say I'm asleep, and my wife needs some cash, so she takes £10 from my wallet without my knowledge. Well, I suppose that's technically theft. I don't regard it as a crime. I won't be calling the police about it. In the context of the relationship, it's not a crime, when otherwise it obviously would be. I'd like to ask Miss Harman, should I regard this like theft by a stranger in the street? Should the police prosecute my wife for theft, despite my objection that it wasn't a crime? Should they dust my wallet for fingerprints? Should she spend the night in a jail cell? There is such a serious lack of intellectual rigour in the arguments from Harriet Harman, and similar statements by Baroness Scotland, that I wonder at their senior positions at the Home Office. How did these 2 women achieve these positions with such a demonstrable lack of intelligence? Is this a consequence of women-only shortlists and other affirmative action for female politicians?
And in order to allow progress on women's representation in the House to continue, we'll extend the permission for all women shortlists for parliamentary selection until 2030.
I'm also concerned about women-only lists for Parliament, because effectively, if you get a woman that comes from a female-only list in Parliament, you're going to get substandard people.